talk show today. And we will be talking about a range of issues, but just want everybody to be aware that that's the reason why I'm live this Sunday. You're welcome to my talk show with Simon. We all know Simon, right? Simon is going to introduce himself better and proper. And he gets back. And yeah, thank you. Happy Sunday to you guys. Yes. So Simon, waiting for Simon. Yeah. As going to be joining Simon. Right. Yes. So you said the time. Yes. I've been traveling in Delta State, Sapele to be precise, and it's been like 3 days of non-stop activities. So you have to kindly just overlook my tiredness. I came back from the flight and had to rest a little bit. So you know when you sleep and wake up in this Nigeria, you just too tired, but everything will be fine. Yes, I'm good. Good afternoon to you, Los Baba. One, thank you so much. So I was asking about Justice Scrap tomorrow. It's going to be the bill here, I believe. We hope the judge will do the right thing by granting bail as soon as bail application is moved. Okay, so he already sent me a request to join. Okay, let's see request to join here. What do I find out your request to join? Request to join, request to join. I haven't seen a request to join. Request to join from him. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think request to join, request to join. Still haven't seen it. I'm gonna accept as soon as I see the request to join. 6 a.m. Tangas. Request to join. Hello, Simon.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? Sorry that it took me a while to figure out your request to join us. Sorry about my eyes. I just did a 3 days trip to Delta State. So just flew in from Sapele. No worry this morning to Abuja. I had to take a quick nap so I could join your show, and it's gonna be a long day. Several other events lined up. So happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you as well.
All right, go ahead. So let's take it away.
So I open up, but well, I think there's a miscommunication somewhere. So I opened up, a lot of people were waiting, but at the end of the day, I have to inform them now that we're going to be having it here. So I hope they join very soon.
Well, where did you go before?
I was on live as well. I sent you an invite.
Oh, this is not live.
So I thought you were. No, I thought you were coming in on my platform. This is your own platform.
Oh, okay. I see what it means now.
Okay.
So, do you want me to discontinue here and get you? Can we restart it? That I can join you. So you invite me then.
Yeah, that was what I did initially.
Okay, so do you want to reverse that?
But does it actually matter? I think it doesn't
It doesn't.
matter.
It doesn't. So let's go. Let's go. Yes. No,
It doesn't matter. It's only for people that are looking for followers, or when you want followers, follow back, follow and follow. So it's not all about that at the end of the day. It's all about having a constructive conversation.
Absolutely. Let's go.
So nice to meet you again, sir, and happy Sunday as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks for inviting me to your platform. And happy Sunday to everyone who is out there watching. It's happy Sunday.
So, sir, as you may know, there are a lot of speculations, there are a lot of questions, and there are a lot of criticism as well.
Yes.
So, and I think that is the more reason why we're here.
Okay.
So, and just like you know, this thing is not arranged before now.
Yeah, that's
one
fine.
will be told in regards to what to expect and what not to expect. So the fact is, the questions are just going to be purely spontaneous, impromptu.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if there's a way we can create room for audience, because on my platform, I would have loved to have a situation where we can have people to come on board and actually talk about issues instead of just hearing and listening. So can you expand the board to actually accommodate guests, sir?
Well, I can accommodate guests, but I just have to know which guest comes on, so that I know who to bring on. That's why I was asking if maybe you need for us to restart again, and you could use your platform so that you can bring in the guests you want. But I think we can just do this now and have us. Yes. You see what I'm talking about?
It doesn't matter. All people need to know is that all people want to hear is your voice and the genuineness and the sincerity.
Yes.
So, I think in this regard, sir, if I may request, if we can go on my platform, I think it will be better.
Well, how about we do this? Let me log off from here.
Sorry?
I said I'll log off from mine and then we'll go to yours. I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay. I will go on live now and send you an invite.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Alright, guys. As you can imagine, the light is out here.
The next thing they talk say, is the road. The people, they are not part of this that. No, for you, you go job, go do. Hey! You go know. Let's get it!
Oh man.
We go dig out for police station.
Okay. Okay, Sam, okay.
How do people have been asking me recently if I'm a Bachamama in regards the video I did when I sang in Wate language. So let me clear. People have been asking me recently if I'm a Bachamama. I'll be joining up, and I hope at the end of the day, let it be protected. Okay?
Sorry guys, two issues happening at the same time. It's playing that I'm on another, putting was live on this another that I'm on another device. Right? I don't know why that's there. But I can't work from live. I'm sorry, I'm Simon K here, but it's not letting me watch join him live.
People have been asking me recently if I'm a Pachamama.
Says I can't join you because I'm on the device.
like uh, we're live today with someone that doesn't require a kind of a formal introduction or somebody that you need to paint a pedigree and regards, but just a quick one to people that may care to know. Well, live with Comrade, the presidential aspirant of the African Action Congress, the leader, the founder, and the chairman of the Revolution Now and Take It Back movement, and at the same time, a renowned activist for decades. So I think that is just basically it for now. So we're going to start this way. We're going to start with a little bit of introduction from his own part, a little bit of question. Then we have the audience participating in regards constructive arguments, questions, and answers from him. And we proceed head on that way. Okay? So, good evening once again, sir.
Yes, good evening. How are you,
Nice
Simon?
having you on this platform. Sir, can you briefly introduce yourself, if you don't mind?
Yes, I will agree. My name is Omoyele Sowore. I'm a Nigerian, and I've been described in several ways, but I see myself as who I am. And I have done a lot of stuff, some of them media, others. I've done teaching as a lecturer in the US for several years. I have done establishing a political platform and movement known as Take It Back and the political party African Action Congress. And I go about trying to help whenever I can in what's most important to us, the activity. Yes.
All right, sir. So, sir, if I may start with a quick question.
Yes. Please go ahead.
What do you mean by activism? What is activism to start with?
Well, activism in my own definition is that aspect of my own life, and I said that's my definition, where I get seriously engaged in social, political, or what I call social justice issues. Diving into good governance, the struggle for proper democracy, ensuring protection of human rights, of all, without regard to race, status, social orientation, gender, or you know, without without regards to fear. That's what I call activism. Right? So that's like I said, that's how I like to describe my own. That's how I would describe that to me.
Okay. So, secondly, talking about the revolutionary movement,
Yes.
and the Take It Back movement as well. What does it entail? What is it all about? Because there are a lot of speculations out there that talks about that see it more as some even refer to it as a cult.
No,
they say it's a cult. Let me finish, sir.
Yes.
They refer to it as a cult, like what you see flying on social media these days is a cult. People get berets, and some with the recent trendings on social media, they say once you have that beret, sense is taken off you. And adventure, they look at it from two perspectives. from the aspect that is a cult, and secondly, is more or less like a political adventure. There is nothing new, there is nothing different in regard. So, can you basically tell people here what the revolutionary movement is all about? What is the revolutionary movement?
Well, the revolutionary movement came about in 2019 after the 2019 election, in which I participated as a presidential candidate. And when we realized that that election came and went, and that it wasn't going to bring about the social change that we have been advocating for, we decided to uh, organize a nationwide revolutionary protest in which we asked Nigerians to reject the old order and force a new order in Nigeria. And we had a variety of demands that I cannot reel out, that I may not have time to reel out here. So, an adoption of a beret wasn't because we believe. In fact, those of us who are in the revolutionary movement are people who are opposed to cultism, either it is campus gangsterism or street gangsterism. We are opposed to the beret was just our own way of describing ourselves as a more militant organization. It was our own militant phase of the organization. And if you look across the world, when organizations go into a militant phase, the beret is a symbol of that militancy. That, look, we have people who are militants who want to march, and the beret is militants without the use of weapons. So that is what the beret. In fact, the reason we didn't choose two of the more favorite colors as the beret is because we were critically opposed to cultism. I spent my years in the University of Lagos fighting cultism, so I don't believe in cultism at all. But it's a global trend to use beret as a way of introducing or uh, announcing militancy that will be a little bit more than just your regular politicians who wear caps, hats, and all these massive abbadas, and we just want to move it to be different from the regular politicians in the country. So it has nothing to do with politism at all. And there was nothing in it. You said maybe they said it's not different. Of course, since we started the revolution now movement, everything has changed within the political space in Nigeria. We are the ones who organized the first revolutionary movement protests across Nigeria that shut down the entire country in 2019. It had over 26 states, 26 states participating, in which the Nigerian government brought in helicopters, gun trucks, trying to fight back because the message resonated with so many Nigerians that over 5 million people searched on Google for the meaning of revolution and before and after a revolution now in 2019. And these were struggles that eventually led to NSAS and several other struggles in Nigeria that has changed the face of public resistance against bad governance. You also aware of the bad governance that had people participating in the protests from the part of Nigeria that was not expected to happen, which was the northern part. So that is what Revolution Now was about. Revolution Now was our own battle cry to say, look, we're tired of the status quo anthem in Nigeria, and we wanted to change, and we invite all Nigerians to come with us to confront the old system that has made it impossible for them to get progress and development in their lives. So that's what it was then, and it is till today.
Okay. So again, what do you hope to achieve with the revolutionary movement? What do you hope to achieve?
The revolutionary movement is here to change the country, not just for better, as most people we hear that from regular politicians, but to radically change the objective conditions of our people, to change the political ideology in Nigeria, to give power to the people, to change the economic order, to give prosperity to the people, to give, to change the social order, to not have a few people oppress a majority. So the revolution in our view is to bring about revolutionary activities in every sector across the country, but majorly to retire the old system, to bring an end to the system of subjugation and oppression, incompetence and corruption in a very radical way. That is to end it in such a way that it will be very quick and transformative. That is what revolution now is about.
Okay, so how do you hope to achieve that?
Well, our method is mass
In a
mobilization.
very simplified way, how do you hope to achieve that?
Our objective is mass mobilization and mass activity, participation. And for us,
by mass mobilization, what do you mean by mass
yes,
mobilization?
most mass mobilization is to get everybody involved and to have mass action. It's not just mass mobilization; it's mass action as well. Mass action is what we did in 2019, in which the whole country heard from us and said, "Look, on that particular day, which was supposed to be August 5, everybody in the country, as far as I know, because I was arrested on August 12, 2019, so I was already in detention by that time, but I was very impressed that 26 states across the country came out and tried mass action against the old order. We were very clear as to what we want.
By mass actions, what do you mean by action?
Mass rallies, mass protests across the country. Yes, that's what we did not intend or never anticipated violence. It was not violent mass action that we anticipated. And that's what we see preaching today. That everybody will come out and say no to the old system. And that will lead to very, very serious transformation of the system in which majority of our people reject corruption, incompetence, and the oppression that has become the order of the day in Nigeria. That was the kind of result we were looking for. But mass action is for everybody to march and rally across the country at once. And we did achieve part of that, and that subsequently, maybe the best way to describe it is what happened during NSAS, for instance. And bad governance, yes.
Okay, well, some people are of the opinion that there's no difference between you and the with the politicians at the moment, and they feel like it's because you're not in position. That is why you're calling for this. That is number one. And secondly, there's also a school of thoughts that equally believes that all you are doing is nothing but for funds, for you to get funds from international donors and people that care to contribute. So how do you react to these two questions? That there's no difference between you and the politicians at the moment, because the fact is, the difference is that you haven't seen power yet, and that is why you are pushing this message. And to some certain extent, they feel you're even jealous or you're bitter because you're not in power and you're doing anything to get you in power. And secondly, some equally believes that all you're doing at the moment is for money. Because when you say you want to campaign, just like with the recent issue situation where people say that it's all about money, when somebody say you're all about fundraising, you have a lot of donors sponsoring you, sending you money in the name of you want to become the president. How do you react to that?
Well, the part about not being different, as we have distanced ourselves from old politics. That is the reason why, as a political party in Nigeria today, that's the African Action Congress, nobody can find us in the company of the old political system. We are very clear that the reason we came and exist in the first place is to reject the old order and not to partake and participate in it. And I want to make it maybe abundantly clear to you that I and several of our key party leadership get invited all the time by the established political parties, either to partake or join their coalition. I get invited or offered appointments all the time. I get offered all kinds of things. which I reject, but we are different from them, and we have made it very clear. And if there's, I don't know where you get your information from, but you know that if there's anything that we get blamed for, is the fact that we are hardline, we are very uncompromising. People are always asking us to soften down and join those established politicians, the people they call lesser evil, for instance. So, but there's nobody in Nigeria that I know of who is in doubt about the fact that our political party is different, doesn't work with the old political system. That we have a manifesto, we have a website where you can read up on our ideology and what we plan to do for the country. We who you refer to as nothing different are the ones who get sent to jail by the regular politicians. We get sued all the time. We get beaten up, you get roughened up. You can say that maybe these ones don't mean that you're different from them, but if you're not different from them, I think we'll be participating in government, we'll be participating in contracts, we'll be living a cozy life as your regular politicians live. But we have chosen a life that is different, a life that we can practically say denial. You know, for instance, you must have seen a trending video of me saying like I had to return to Nigeria, and I don't mean to brag about it, to come and suffer because I was doing better, way better than I am now. But that's nobody sent me, so I don't need to come and tell you, cry to you that oh, I returned to Nigeria. That's the result. I'm suffering. You know, I made this choice. As per your second question about funding, I don't know who is funding who at this point. I think I'm the one who is probably losing money. If anybody knows anybody who is funding our movement, I'm sure they would have said it. I get frequently subjected to scrutiny by Nigerian government. In 2019, they accused me of taking money from some people in Dubai. They didn't disclose to them. Said 100 million was how much they accused me of taking from Dubai. I spent 5 months in detention. They couldn't support that allegation, and they had to drop the charges of money laundering. And even as recent as last year, the Inspector General of Police went to court and asked that I should look into all my accounts. He actually accused me of having a relationship with uh, terrorists, and I was getting terrorist funding. They looked at all the accounts and couldn't find anything, and they were shocked. So, what am I trying to tell you is that you must understand that when you're on this radical level of resistance, when you're uncompromising, they will say all kinds of things against you. And I don't bother about that. They will, try to embarrass you, they will blackball you, try to blackmail you, that you're taking funding. Who am I taking funding from? You look at it, no, I'm the one who has to fund myself. I'm the one who have to deny myself and my family my little support that I can give. I'm lucky a bit that I have family support. Otherwise, probably I would have completely crumpled even financially or ruined or bankrupted. So, but these are the easy kind of jabs people throw at you when they find out that you are uncompromising and that you don't partake in the looting of the country. And in some cases, and I should say this before you ask your question, people actually look at someone like me and say to themselves, if I were to be in Shore's shoes, I would be a billionaire because I would, this guy is well known. He could be he could be living in huge wealth, and why is he not doing it? So instead of looking at it and say people are different, they just throw lies around, they throw blackmail around. Some of them banters and say, "Oh, let me just wake up this morning and accuse you of something I've never done before." And let's just hope that people believe me. It's not only that, there are people who go out this and say, oh, because you get arrested and you get released after some days or you get beaten, you haven't died, it's because you are working with the CIA. There's a guy whose entire life on Twitter is to accuse me of being a member of the CIA. They do all this things just so that they can try and weigh you down or try to see what will hurt you the most or try to discourage you from what you're doing. But likely, like I said, some of them wish they're in your position so that they can make money from it. And they can't understand why you have such a position and you're not making money, or you're not rolling with the big boys or the big. But I didn't come to live my life so that I'll be part of the people stealing your common. I came into this life convinced and prepared for a life that will help us free up our wealth and give it to as many of our people as possible. Because I've experienced such life before, and I don't understand the reason why Nigerians are suffering.
Okay, sir. So two questions here,
Yes.
and I think it's very important. Is your movement all about you becoming the president? That is one. Is your movement, is the revolutionary movement all about you becoming the president? That is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, why are you not rolling with the big boys?
Well, no, my revolutionary movement is not about becoming president alone. But I believe that if the movement succeeds and I become the president, it will be good for the country, Nigeria, because I have understudied and I also even overstudied Nigeria over the years. I have participated in public life, but no political life. I haven't done any partisan political life. But there's virtually no event that has happened in Nigeria in terms of political transitions or political activities that have not been involved in the last 30 years. So I understand the people who are governing Nigeria now, and I know that I can do a better job governing Nigeria than they are currently doing. And it will be a massive boost for the people of Nigeria if someone like me was given the opportunity democratically to become president of Nigeria. So that's why I put myself up, and it's the reason why we also have gone all the way to set up a movement and a political party that could rescue Nigeria. Nigeria is such a beautiful place, I keep saying, and that it has not too much to make Nigeria work for all, for you to just be able to wake up safe, be able to send their children to school to find employment. In fact, sometimes I'm ashamed that I'll say this, that I'm among the people who say after the campaigning, I'll give you a road, I'll give you water to drink, I'll give you schools. I feel ashamed that we are still doing that in 2026 when people are already campaigning in other countries or other climes that started about the same time we started about going to the moon and back, and installing satellites everywhere, and creating massive economies and industrial investments and inventions that's changing the face of the world. We are here just promising basic things, bare minimum. So we're going to give your children books when you go to school, free education. We're going to help you get immunization for children. This is sad thing that we're still there in 2026. As to your second question about rolling with the big boys, well, the people who call big boys are not big to me. I find it to be interesting that there are big boys in the country that have good big ideas. I will be happy to roll with people with big ideas. And to me, those big boys and big girls or big men are big women. But those ones that I see all the time, who are just wearing big boo-boos and walking around with nothing to offer the country, I don't consider them big boys. I consider them small-minded people.
Okay. So, what do you think is wrong with the government at the moment? Why do you think you are a better option or people deserve better? Because considering the situation, considering the reality that the problem of the nation is multifaceted. You can't pinpoint a particular thing to say this is just the problem. So, why do you think that the present government at the day is not performing optimally and possibly with you teaming up and working with them or making suggestions they can be better?
With due respect to everyone who's watching and listening, I don't think we have a government. Yeah, if you have seen governments operate anywhere in the world, you would agree with me that we don't have a government. We just have a bunch of people who have unfortunately found their way to hijack power and they're using it to enrich themselves. and using to punish the rest of our people. And I'm not, this is something I'm very certain about. So I couldn't have woken up one day and say, hey, the best thing I want to do in my life, after all these years of struggle, after all these years of commitment to social justice, that people I want to go and work for are the people who wake up in the morning only to go and sign documents or award themselves contracts that they will never implement. Look, every highway in Nigeria that they're likely driving on that is terrible has been awarded, you know, since that highway was first constructed. The repair and maintenance of it has been awarded every year ever since then. They have then budgets. But guys will collect the money and disappear with open mansions that they don't live in. They're going to build houses abroad that they don't live in, or they live in twice a year. It's a bunch of very wicked uh, politicians or whatever you want to call them. So there is nothing in Nigeria today that can make me honestly say that we have a government. We don't have a government, and we must admit that if government is what we have experienced elsewhere, you are not in Nigeria, I've lived outside of Nigeria for 15 years, then you must admit that there's no government. And to say that I want to join government is also therefore antithetical to this belief uh, that I have, that first and foremost we must have a semblance of government. That is people who actually wake up, go to work, they drive to work. In here, they don't drive; they're driven to work in series of cars. Several of them empty, but with filled up with gasoline, only to go and get contracts for themselves or go sit down around and just do things that don't look like work or that's not work. So I hope that answers your prayer. I mean your question.
So, what are the three major things you look at in good government? What are the three, just three major, without buttressing more? Because I have a question to ask as well. Just
Well,
three.
Well,
Three fundamentals.
the most important for me, which is number one, is that any government that I identify with a government that is vision driven, right? And when I mean vision driven, is I want to hear from the government that this is what we look up to every day that can take the country to a different level when these activities are implemented. The second aspect of it is a government that is disciplined and mission driven. And the last aspect for me is a government that is imbued or populated by people who are ambitiously interested in progress and development. Those for me are the three things. I'm not talking about what do we do now. That's a different question altogether. But I'm talking about, I just want to wake up and be inspired by hearing from the president of the country or the government at every level saying, look, this is what we do, and you'll get this result. That you're actually doing those things. That's a mission. And that, you have people who are out there actually doing it. When you see them and say, oh my God, this is my local government chairman. He just came around and discussed with us on how to fix the road or how they're fixing the schools and ourselves and operating it. And, they have come around and done some maintenance work or they're going to bring in new water systems. Those are ambitious men and women who you see roll up their sleeves and are working. What I see is the direct opposite. Anytime you see them, it's because you can almost predict that if you see people in government in Nigeria, large numbers, or they're holding a meeting, they are actually holding a meeting on how to destroy the little that is left.
So, equally based on the street, they equally said there are some school of thoughts that believes that all you have been doing, your activism for all these years, but just noise making. All you just do is talk, 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 talk. There hasn't been any single impact.
Well,
so, what is your take on that?
There are things that I don't even answer to, honestly. The reason being that I didn't wake up and appointed myself as your spokesperson or took on a responsibility to be your activist. I woke up convinced. When I was saying, I developed myself over the years, convinced that contributing positively to my society will bring about change and development. And I've seen change happen. If I'm here telling you that, oh, this is what I did that led to this, that means that it's time to retire. So, but I just do what my conscience tells me is right. And I know that it has brought about massive impact on society. Maybe the question we should ask, or the challenge we should throw out to ourselves, is that more people, especially those who might feel that I'm not doing enough, should get involved. Are you getting my point? And do what I couldn't do, because I have no doubt that if there were more people, we could be doing a lot more. And maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not doing enough. But I just wake up and try my best. And I know that if a lot of us are trying our best, we wouldn't even be asking this question about impact.
Okay. Sir, the next one uh, is it possible for somebody to be a member of the revolutionary movement, not necessarily a member of the AAC? And secondly, how open is the revolutionary movement? Because part of the reason why people refer to it as cult is because they see it as a closed circle. So what makes you revolutionary, apart from just word on the street that if you want today, you are already one? People want a means of identity to prove that, okay, this is me and I'm recognized by this movement. So I hope I just asked three questions here. I don't know if you get it.
What's the first question? I ask them again.
Is the revolutionary movement an
Open.
open organization?
Yes, it is. It is
One.
open.
And secondly, what entails you being a member of the revolutionary movement? Yeah. And thirdly, can someone be a member of the revolutionary movement without necessarily being the member of the political party AAC?
Yes. So, thank you. The revolutionary movement is open to all. Actually, what is referred to as revolutionary movement, let me explain to you once again, is not being a member of any group called the revolutionary movement. Revolution now is the activity part or um, the war song of the battle cry for the Take It Back movement. Are you getting my point? The Take It Back movement was established in 2018. It was the Take It Back movement that led to the AAC. All right, so most members of the Take It Back movement are AAC. The AAC is the African National Congress, which is the political platform of the Take It Back movement for those who are interested in partisan politics. There are a lot of Take It Back movement members who are not interested in partisan politics, although we encourage them to say, look, no matter how hard you fight, if you don't change the political reality of Nigeria, you're just fighting for nothing. That's why we went ahead and started a political party. So, and these are open platforms to join. You can join online, the Take It Back movement, I believe. You can join online, the AAC. But the next problem is to adopt a revolutionary method, which is non-violent, mass action oriented, intellectual engagement, a lot of justice interventions across all board, and the general resistance against oppression, corruption, and incompetence in government. So that is what is a revolutionary movement. Maybe because people see that we give out caps, that is beret. They think that the moment you give somebody a beret, that no, before you can become a member of the revolutionary movement, you have to actually take classes, sometimes for weeks, so that you will understand what we're about. And it is not heated; it is done online mostly through Zoom and WhatsApp groups and series of conversation and education. that's how it is done. It's all open to everybody who has joined. If, for instance, you join the revolutionary movement and you have not been taken through the education process, we don't take you serious because we will not we will take it that you don't understand what we stand for. But some people, because of the ease with which we give out our berets, think that the moment you get a beret, you have become a revolutionary. No, so it's just like saying somebody has become a monk because he's dressed like monk. You have to go through the process of education. We don't call it initiation because it is autism that initiate people into it. This one is education, complete immersion in understanding what we stand for and what our dream for our society is all about. Yes.
So let's talk about fundraising, sir.
Yes.
Fundraising for political campaign, because that seems to be what has been used at the moment to discredit all of whatever you've been doing. They say it's all about fundraising. You raise funds for campaigns, and at the end of the day, the fact is nobody has been able to tie that to the fact that you raised it and embezzled it. But they talk about fundraising.
No, I want to educate.
Sorry, sir. Let me finish up, sir.
Yes,
so, what is your take on the concept of fundraising generally?
Okay.
Do you think fundraising is bad, or do you think it's part of what is required to ensure the revolutionary movement stands and whatever ideology you're pursuing?
Yes. What could be wrong is to raise funds in non-transparent manners. In fact, we were the ones who introduced crowdfunding into the political system in Nigeria. What do we mean by crowdfunding? We go and tell people how to donate to us for our political work. And we tell them on a daily basis, anybody who is watching this in 2018, 2019, every day that we raise funds online, we announce how much we raised. And at the end of the month, we also announce to people who donate to us and members of the organization how much we raised. We're the first in Nigeria to also present a big breakdown of how much we spent, and everywhere we went, nobody has ever done it until we started it. In fact, it was based on our release of a breakdown of our fundraising that other politicians were forced, some, not all, some of them don't even care, to present their fundraising breakdown at the end of the political. The first and second time we ever raised funds was in 2018 and 2019. And how did people know that we raised funds? Because we announced it. We will go online like this. We used to sit on the couch and just put our account there and explain to people, call in and ask that they made donations at the end of the fundraising activity, which we did. We will announce it. There is no serious political organization in the world that don't raise funds. I get an average of 10 newsletters every day, still in the EU as I'm here in Nigeria, from the Democratic Party, different candidates, Republican candidates in the US, asking for funds from me. I donated to Obama funds. All right. So anybody who wants to do massive political work cannot do it by himself. The ones that don't raise funds in open and democratic ways are the ones who embezzle funds. Do you know how much the APC raises every election cycle? Billions. They even mention the billions. Sometimes they just a fundraiser. You heard Dangote gave billions. This person gave billions. They never provided a breakdown. The PDP has never provided a breakdown of how much they raised. We are the first in Nigeria. Go and check with anybody who said to everyone, we don't have to go to the rich people because they are the ones holding you to ransom. We can take your support, and it's seeking permission and begging them for it. And people gave us money. In I think in 2018 we raised about 156 to 160 million naira for the entire campaign. Now, if you are running for councillorship or even chairmanship in the APC, that is chicken change. And that was how much we spent to run for the presidency in 2018 and 2019. By 2022, we had a lot of political issues. Our party was hijacked from us. It took a whole lot of 3 years to get the party back. That's the AAC. And by the time I started running for presidency, we had 6 days to go for the closure of the presidential nomination process. And I think I raised 50 million naira. That's all I raised in 20 because we didn't have time, we didn't have much. So the same thing with the party. Never have I ever taken a dime from the party. I'm practically one of the major funders of the party. But in Nigeria, the moment people hear money, oh man, they just go ballistic. But they don't do that with people who actually steal their money. It is like I told you, the easiest way to blackmail somebody in Nigeria. So I donated money to you in the election, and you didn't explain to me. But if you go online and you go on the website of the party, we are the first. It was reported in the news that Sowore is the first to even do ChatGPT or to ever in the history of Nigeria give an account of fundraising for political, political fundraising. So that is how serious political movement organization do that. Nothing else except you want to hide, get money from big funders and not disclose it, and then win election, and then you become the holding of special interest. So if you don't want your country to be hijacked by special interest, when people come and say they want to run your country, uh, you should feel free to donate to them. But ensure that they give you a breakdown of how the money is spent. Because that's
Okay. So, again, what is your concept of justice, sir? And why I'm asking this is because this is very important to people who want to hear. In the sense that with the recent happenings, it seems as if anybody that arrested you jump on his own case and you start saying is wrong, is wrong. And that was what gave birth, according to people, to you jumping into conclusion of the situation of Belot, that you feel that that is not justice and there is need for justice and rule of law to be adhered to. So what is your concept of justice and how did that practice, like in, for example, that of Belot now, how did it violate the rule of law and what made it not just? So two questions here. What is your concept of justice? And secondly, how did the recent happening in regards to Lord and very dark man violates law? The two, let me add one more to it. The last part I want to add to it is the fact that a lot of people feel that you are at leverage to call very dark man and tell him that he should stop this and there should be a gentleman's agreement. So can you answer these three questions?
well, justice for me is the foundation for is the foundation of how any society should be built. It's not for me. That's the popular reason for the use of justice. It's the foundation of how our dignity is defined, how society is made to progress, how we bring about equity and equality in society. So the idea that justice must somehow be selective, that justice must somehow bow to special interests, violates the existence and the meaning of justice itself. And even though I have the one now decided not to discuss the bill of issue anymore because it has been resolved in what was my own reason for intervention, that there should be justice. What was justice in that case? Justice is that the issue was even not a criminal case, that was a civil, but somehow the police, which was my focus in that matter, because I keep saying to people, we have a very responsible police force, lent itself to a matter that did not concern the police, and as a result, violated the right of somebody. First, by subjecting him to a series of interrogation and abuse, and eventually prosecuting him falsely for an offense that was civil. And after doing that, the judiciary carried out what I call an overreach by sending him to prison in a matter for which he would have been granted bail, even though it wasn't a criminal offense. And when that was done, the intervention showed to all of you clearly what was justice. And what was it? The judge realized that he had sent him to prison and then decided to come back and grant him bail on Zoom. It's rare for a Nigerian judge to grant anybody bail on Zoom, but they are now using Zoom. Secondly, she then realized that is judge handling the matter, that she must have engaged in some unscrupulous activity. Withdrew from the case. She recused herself because it became an embarrassment to the judiciary. I don't know what went into the decision by the judge to recuse herself. But if a judge recuses herself without even being asked, typically it is the litigants, one of the litigants, either the plaintiff or defendant, that will ask the judge to remove herself from a case. This woman came and said, "Look, I'm not doing this case anymore." Have you asked yourself, why did she leave? Because they knew that what they did was wrong. But had there not been an intervention, what would have happened? That person, Bill, or that young man, Linus Williams, aka, would have just wasted in prison. And then would have come and on the day of the case, they will hear the bail application and they will say, "We'll take a date to grant a bail." And for no reason, and a monumental injustice will have been carried against somebody. And anybody who lives in a society where that is possible and does nothing about it, that person has failed to live up to the expectation of society. And so the last part that maybe I should have had a flexible arrangement or agreement with, I've answered that before. I don't do gentleman arrangement. The moment I see injustice, I confront it head on. And I have done that in this case, and we have fulfilled our own obligation as to our commitment to social justice to make sure that no man is oppressed. So this idea, I don't know who sold the idea to some people and to yourself, that if you do something wrong, and I have to call you first to tell you that what you did is wrong, before you now have a gentleman agreement to say, "Oh, called me, I'm going to forgive the person who is languishing in jail." No, I don't know. It's the concept in itself is an unjust concept. It's a concept that promotes inequality. That some people in your own society are more equal than others. So it's an animal farm mentality that some animals are more superior to others. And as a result, if the big animal oppresses the small animal, we must call him first. We must send flowers, bouquet of flowers. And say, "Please, sir, please forgive this person. He's a non-entity." You know, that's how Nigerian operates. Everybody wants to sit back, oppress somebody, and want to be begged before they can lift the oppression. But that's not how societies work. You call out what is wrong, regardless of who is involved, and make sure that wrong is right. Are you getting my point? You make sure that the right of the person that's violated is restored. And that is how we do that so that society can take an example from that. You know, in the process, a lot of people will take a cue from it and say, "Oh, this is the red line that people must not cross, no matter how powerful or popular or fortunate they are, or how highly connected they are." Because don't forget, all of this came from connection. It came from the ability to use the system to oppress somebody. And I'm against oppression. I don't know how many times I need to tell all of you that I'm against oppression. And in the process, I do not mind, even when I get into the midst of fighting against oppression, that I get hurt or bruised because that's how I'm wired. And that point has been made already. The bill is out before the day of the bill. If we hadn't intervened, Bill would probably still be in prison now. So, and I didn't do it alone. I have to thank all of you that that were quick on your feet to say, look, this is not right, and we should make sure that this don't happen to anyone in our society. I want to thank all of you. I didn't do it alone.
Thank you everybody for listening. If you've been listening for almost an hour now, you've been listening to Omoyele Sowore, Comrade Omoyele Sowore, the leader of the revolution now, Take It Back movement, and also a presidential aspirant of the AEC. So I think we move to the next segment now. I'm going to be bringing up some people, and you're going to have a question or two to ask him. So the questions are definitely going to be objective, straight to the point, and I want to inform you and warn you as well that immediately I bring you up and you're not objective or your question is not reasonable, I'm dropping you right away. Okay? No bias, no sentiment or whatever, but just be objective. Criticism, constructive criticism is welcome. Questions are welcome, but unnecessary utterances will warrant you being dropped immediately. So I'm going to start bringing up people now, and I'm going to be bringing people serially. I hope that at least a lot of people will be able, and as you're coming up, just off your mic, and we're going to take it in descending order. So once you're allowed to talk, you talk. When you're not allowed to talk, you don't talk. But the fact is, if you don't have anything reasonable to say, you may be dropped immediately. Yeah. So let's start with the first person. You're welcome. What is your question? What is your criticism? Introduce yourself first of all, then you go ahead. Open your mic. The first person.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
My question is that I want to ask Mr. Sowore, is it possible that revolution will happen in Nigeria without gun and bullet? And if it is no, then how are we going to achieve that without gun and bullet? That is my question.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very important question, and I've been asked this question tons of times. If the revolution we appreciate, the violence revolution that we need to go back to the system and kill people and destroy their homes and burn down their properties. No, we in Nigeria have experienced violent activities. In fact, the Nigerian system is not devoid of violence. As I'm speaking with you, party primaries of the APC just took place and there's blood everywhere. They have engaged in bloodletting. I have never seen the use of violence as a way of resolving our own social political liberation struggle. And I take a cue from Mahatma Gandhi in India, who organized people peacefully to bring about an end to British colonialism and oppression. I take a cue from Martin Luther King, who never touched a gunpowder before and changed forever the fortune of blacks in America. I take a cue from Nelson Mandela. But people can argue that really Nelson Mandela had organized come to Sizwe, which is a spear of the nation, which was a section of his revolutionary movement that was engaging in violence. But I don't believe in violence. I believe that with our numbers, with ideology and intellect, we can defeat these people. I know I've seen a lot of bloodletting in Nigeria. Boko Haram is doing it. Niger Delta militants engage in violence, and bandits are engaging in violence for no reason. I do not believe in violence. I do not believe that I have to go and kill people, parents and children, to have a revolution. I believe that without numbers, what has not happened, and why the revolution is delayed, is because people have not woken up consciously enough to understand that there's power in their feet and not necessarily the power of the gun.
Okay.
I still have one question to ask.
Right.
Okay, everybody is at liberty to ask two questions, so be swift and brief, please. Go ahead.
Another thing I want to ask is that do you think only one person can bring revolution in Nigeria? And if it is not no, if it is yes, like it's not one person can bring revolution in Nigeria, why can't you work with other people that's genuine to fight for a better Nigeria? And let's put our differences aside and work together, call them together and say, okay, all of us are fighting for the same thing. Why can't we come together and face these people? See, these people are not ready to give up today, tomorrow, except we.
And don't buttress more, just ask your question. There is no need for buttress. Buttress.
Okay, that is the question that I want to ask.
Yes, I want to say clearly that I'm not ignoring at all. A lot of people who are watching you, some of them online here out of our team, working ceaselessly to bring about the society desire. And when we did revolution now in 2019, a lot of our police were arrested and tried across the country. So I'm not alone. I just happen to be the arrowhead because I'm the one who established the movement alongside others. And the one that is loudest, I guess, maybe because I've been around a lot more than a lot of people, and I take I take a lot of heat. So, but when you ask this question, sometimes I somehow know where you are going, but I hope I don't want to preempt you. It's always a question about why don't you join the lesser evils? But for me, evil is evil. There's no point deceiving myself that I'll join lesser evils to achieve an objective that was created by both big and lesser evils in our country. But in terms of us joining hands together, we are all free to do so. Anytime we call for a mass action, we call everyone, both those who can attend physically and those who can operate even remotely. So it is you guys, and if you believe that we need freedom, we need liberation, that we need a better society, you guys come out and join in large numbers, and we will achieve our objectives. We did it before several times. We did it during NSAS, we did it during Impact Program, we did it during Revolution Now movement. I did it way before then as a student activist when we were fighting against the military. So there is nothing stopping anybody, nothing preventing that. Answer that question to Simon earlier when some people said maybe it's a secret society. No, it's an open society of people of good conscience who can come together and let's fight this battle. You can fight from wherever you are. You can fight from online and you can fight offline. And we can make this happen as quick as possible.
Okay. Next person, please.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing me aboard. Your Excellency, Mr. Sowore, you as a presidential aspirant, it has been or there is a narrative being pushed across that your political party has no structure, that you are the presidential candidate and also the vice presidential candidate, the political party chairman. So I wanted to use the opportunity to address this narrative. So what do you intend? What are the modalities you intend to put in place to achieve your presidential ambition? Thank you very much.
Thank you. First is to address your position that I was presidential candidate, vice presidential candidate. I shake my head when people say that. Anybody who understands how the system works here know that you cannot be president and vice presidential candidate. It's not possible. And I don't know why anybody will even come publicly and say that. As bad as Nigeria is, for you to win an election, you must have a vice presidential candidate. My vice presidential candidate in 2019 was a medical doctor from Jigawa State, Dr. Rabi. The last election we ran, my vice presidential candidate was a lawyer, an accomplished lawyer from Kano State. So, Magashi is there. So, where you guys get this messed up, you don't understand. Why you get the impression that somebody can run as president in Nigeria and not have a vice presidential candidate? But I know where it comes from. It's all part of the blackballing that is handed down to you or in some of these WhatsApp groups. You might just say things that I don't want to say something that will hurt you, but you can't have it. Yeah, I don't have a presidential candidate of a party. I don't have a vice presidential candidate. So, in terms of structures, we do have structures. The problem with Nigeria's political system is that what you should ask the people is that what are the structures of the political parties that run them into election? The structures of violence and transactional politics. You get paid and people who are carrying ballot papers, they use the police, army, and they put in place someone who has not won elections and they swear them in, and that's what you call structure. You also cannot have structures, you can't be a political party without having state structures, local government structures, ward structures. You have to have them before you can run as a political party. In a country of 200 million people, right now, around only about 21 or 22 political parties. All of them must have those structures. But what we should tell you is that we have these structures, but because we have not stolen money and we're not willing to steal money, we do not have the structures that carry out criminal elections. We have the people on our side, but when INEC don't organize free and fair elections, you cannot call the structures that bring about those processes structures. They're not legitimate structures, they're transactional structures. And that's why our battle every day doesn't start and ends with elections. We said to Nigerians, and you're hearing it again from us, that when we say we want a revolution, it is either by ballot or on the barricades, because without confronting these people who make you believe that they have structures, then we don't stand a chance in our country of bringing about legitimate order or progress in our country. When we were asked to submit party membership register in 2022, I've said it so many times, we were told by INEC officials, they revealed to us that the APC does not have party registration, party membership structure. The PDP didn't have. The APC got INEC to help them use the electoral register. People register to vote, the voters register in the country, was what the INEC helped to use to build APC's party membership structure. We have been doing online membership registration since 2018, where our party register is the most complete, they told us, among all the parties. At that time, there were only 19 parties or 18 parties, 2022. And we have structures in every. And if you go to our website to register, you have to register based on where you come from. That is, there will be an opportunity to say, okay, I'm Omoyele Sowore. I'll get a dialogue that opens to say, in which state, if you're in which state. Then another one will open to give you my local government. All of these are preloaded on our website. And then another one will open to tell me which word. Even if you don't know your word, you can find it out on our website, on the party website, aacparty.org. So how do you register people without structures? You have to come from a ward, you have to come from a local government, you have to come from a state to be registered as a member of the party. And we have all this. We are able to, on our own, break down all our members up to the ward level. We have the database on our website that shows that we have members across the country. But what we don't have is, or what we do have, we have that. But what we don't do is to then go and hire thugs, hire police, army, ballot snatchers to kill people on election day so that we can forcibly become president of the country without winning an election.
All right, thank you very much. Now, my last question, which is also my second question, is you as a presidential aspirant, do you believe in this current sorry, in the modalities put across by this INEC under the new chairman? I mean, do you believe in the electoral process come 2027? Do you think that they are going to deliver, or do you believe in the process? Let me put it that way.
Well, it'll be difficult to tell you that I believe in the political process, considering my experience with what I've done with the political process. But what I believe in is the power of the people to force a political order on the country to allow votes to count. You see, what we used to be told when we were purely doing activism and say that we are not interested in politics, said, go and try and work with politics. You guys can win with the numbers. And now we have been part of the political process. And the reason you partly know about what's going on with their handling of politics because we're involved in it. Well, can I tell you that 100% I believe in politics? Of course I don't. I don't believe that INEC can provide free and fair elections. I said it before. That's the reason why you see I'm always championing all those struggles. I was one of the people who fought against the National Assembly when they said that we can no longer have upload of election results as elections are taking place and ending. I was also, but do I believe in the struggle to force their hands? Yes, I do. Do I believe that as presently constituted elections can be free and fair? I'll be lying to you if I say I do. But we are in need to change it. And we have put all the structures in place, legitimate, to ensure that we liberate our country. You see, a lot of people talk about South Africa, not the best country because of the rubbish they're doing now. But do you know that the ANC, the major party that is in power in South Africa, has been around, I think, since 1918 or so, and they didn't win power until 1994. So we are making all the commitments we can make. We are putting in all, and we ask you to join us to force. If everybody who is asking me questions today is actively participating in ensuring that this country changes, even 10,000 of you, we force change, even online. I don't know how many times, and I'm sure most of you have participated, how many times government want to do something rubbish, and we just start an online campaign, and in 2 days, they capitulate. Because we're joining hands. It's not in one place. And you do it at home, you do it abroad, you get the results. But most of you will just stay back. You are not even questioning the people who are fighting the government. You are not questioning the people who are in government. You are more opposed to the people who are fighting the government. That's what most of you do online. You come and attack people. Oh, so where is raising funds? That's the reason why he's doing it. How much? I was doing better when I was not doing activism. I was doing better when I was doing journalism. I was making. I told you guys before. There was a time I was on salary reporters were making $50,000 per month from Google AdSense alone. I left all that to come and go to prison here, to go and eating beans with people. I was in prison as of October last year at Kuje prison. You think that's what I came to do? Do I need to come to do that to raise funds when I can just happily stay back in America, wake up in the morning, turn on my computer, drive my children to school, live happily ever. And somebody will sit down and say, "Oh, Sowore came to raise funds in Nigeria." Funds for what? Funds for what? You know, it's. But I understand why you people do that. You just feel like it's the mentality of, let's just see what we can throw at him. And some of it is done deliberately. Government would come and say, "Oh, accuse him of so things," so that he can leave us alone. uh Maybe if you say all these bad things, you just carry his things and get upset and leave, so that we can lose your country, so that nothing will be left. There will be no Sowore to question the police and question the army. You know, that's a goal. If I had anything he would have put it out. Buhari detained me for 5 to 6 months, kept in Nigeria for 5 years. Nothing. Tinubu has taken me to court. Between 2020, since Tinubu came to this country as president, I have been brought before. Uh, 5 criminal charges have been filed against me. 5 since Tinubu came to power in 2023. They've seized my passport for a year. I just got my passport back some 2 months ago. And I'm sure they are planning to send me to prison again because I called Tinubu a criminal. I've said it, that it is not wrong to say somebody is a criminal when he is. And we said to them, we want to prove it in court that your president is a criminal. If it is not Nigeria, such a person will not even go near the presidency of the country based on what is publicly available. So you are here just trying to insult me every day. Oh, you have a party, you are vice president, you don't have vice president, you are chairman of a party, you are this. Chairman of which party? Party that we have to spend our own money to run. The parties that are sucking your country dry, they are taking the money from the federal government, from NNPC, customs. They are taking all the money from there to fund the APC. They are taking state government money to fund the ADC. They are doing the same for the rest of the party. We use our meal money to run our party. The Beretta is sent to you. I use my money to make them. Never been involved in stealing a dime from any country, any of your public wallets. But the people who are doing that, when they pass, you bow your head down for them. When their siren is coming, you leave the road for them. 1 hour later, you have not even been able to join the main road. But those of us who are using our lives on the line, keep asking us repeated questions, lies and lies. Oh, raising money is doing this. If I am actually, do you guys know that people like Festus Keyamo, who is minister, most of these ministers that you are saying now, they were nobodies when we were doing activism. Festus Keyamo was in Ganifa Women's Chamber. When we go to Ghani's birthday, Festus Keyamo is one of the people that have been serving us food at Ghani's birthday. I must say he wasn't a servant, but he was that, in the hierarchy of activism. But they are making money. And if you see them today, yes, sir, thank you, Minister. Honorable Minister, you call them honorable. Honorable Minister. Hey, Excellency. Honorable this, honorable that, ambassador this, ambassadors without portfolio. Dishonorable people that you call honorable. And we're calling on you that you can reject that order. But I understand most of you don't want to fight. And you don't want people who are fighting to fight. You just come and, yeah, they said, yesterday they said they saw you eating amala in Abuja. How did you get money to buy two bowls of amala instead of one? Why did you put two meats on it? So that's the way I look at some of these questions that come from Nigerians.
Okay. Next person.
Thank you, Chiboke. Thank you. Good evening, my comrade president. Good evening. First of all, love to thank you for everything you're doing. Because some of us understand very well. I know there we might be few who understand you, but it takes some level of uprightness to understand what you're doing. You spent most of your youthful age fighting for this country.
Questions, please. Gary, no need promo. Gary, no.
My question will be one. Boss, my question will be one. So I just want to utilize the opportunity to say something about you.
So do it brief, please.
Yes, thank you very much. So thank you for everything you are doing. I know there are some Nigerians, I think the system has been programmed to work this way. Nigerians have been paid cheaply to fight against their own freedom, and they don't even understand these things. Some of them are standing. They are standing people that are.
See the question yet.
Okay, my question is, I've seen some police talking about you, saying some sort of things about you. How do you feel about these things when you are reflecting on yourself, when you are by yourself, when you are alone? How do you deal with these things? Because I'm trying to learn from you. Thank you very much, sir. That's my question.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I don't pay attention to trolls, bullying, all this. Maybe it's because I'm not new to it. You can imagine somebody who went to university, who was expelled twice. I went to do NYC. I was arrested, didn't give me my NYC certificate. The only time that I ever turned into progressive in my life was to do it in another man's country. Every time, the only thing Nigeria has offered me is pain, sorrow, tears, and blood. That's the only thing this country has. And they're not the only one. It's the same thing they do to almost all of you. You understand? So, why would somebody trolling me and then give me? I've been shot before on my tie by a police officer with a riot gun, that thing they use in shooting tear gas. They shot it directly on my thigh. My thigh was swollen. My brother was killed in this country. Nobody has explained. We don't even know who killed him to today. So I understand what practically they call the pedagogy of the oppressed. That if oppression lasts for too long in a society, the oppressed will fall in love with the oppressor. I'm telling you, they will be kissing the feet of the oppressor. That's what a lot of so many Nigerians, not all of us, so many Nigerians are like that. They have been oppressed for so long. They don't even understand what is good life. They don't even understand that somebody can work. Nigeria is the only place where somebody will work and get paid their salary, and they will go to church and give thanks to God for being paid for work that they did. Nigeria is the only country in the world where they will have electricity and they will go to church and thank God that we have had electricity for 3 days out of 7 days. They will give testimony. So, how do you expect such people to understand what good life is? It's difficult. I do not know. I stayed in America for 20 something years. I don't know where the engine of my car is located. When I came to Nigeria, you have to go and open the bonnet, they call it, every morning. Pour water in your radiator, start the car, and I don't know what is the difference. It's the same car, because it's mental condition. They are just using that as just an example of who we are. So, if all you will get in life is to be beaten up and beaten down, you will not understand if somebody says to you, comes to you and says, no, you don't, nobody deserves to beat you down. You'll be like, what do you mean? That's how we live the life here. That's how we roll here. They have to beat you. Police must beat you down. I give you an example. In 2025, I was supposed to be returning to the US. I saw some policemen extorting money. I had my glasses and videoed them and I put it online. People were insulting me that, oh, how much right have you to go ahead and video policemen who are extorting money? Can you do that in America? Can you do that in America? So, fast forward, I met a pilot today who flew us from Warri to Abuja, and he told the flight attendant that he would like to see me before I leave. So even when we were about to land, he told the flight attendant again I would like to see him. So I went to see him in the cockpit, and he said, you don't know what you did for me. And I said, what did I do? He said, those policemen that used to be at Maforoko Shedi on the way to the airport, if you know how many times they almost make me miss flights. It was after you did that thing that they stopped the activities there. And since then, we have been having a free ride to get to work. This is a pilot. This is not an ordinary Nigerian, you know. But if you can still go online and see the comments. Now, how dare you use camera? You're obstructing policemen, obstructing people who are extorting money. But I'm answering this question so that you understand why I don't care about shows. Anybody doing the kind of work we do, you are fighting two wars. You are fighting against the oppressor and you are fighting against the oppressed, whose only goal in life is to become an oppressor. A lot of Nigerian oppressed people don't hate oppression. They're just preserving the oppressive system until it's their turn. I've noted that a lot of Nigerians actually are very oppressive. Not all, very oppressive. Somebody will maltreat somebody and they don't see anything wrong with it. And the person they are maltreating don't see anything wrong with being maltreated. Like I'm saying, I, you know, I cannot believe that people say to me, "Oh, the governor of my state pays salary. Why are you insulting him?" Okay, so he's not supposed to pay salary. Is he using his money to pay you salary? This our governor, he paid some pensions so that his predecessor didn't pay. So what? Oh, our governor, he did a road though, one side like that. I'm just coming from Delta State. You know, they are praising the Delta State governor that he did the flyover in Warri. Flyover in 2026. Flyover. you know, we drove from Warri to Sapele. He did not complete the road in 3 years. You get to a point, the road just cut off from nowhere. When we come back and we got to Warri, and I asked them, I said, what are these useless companies? No, don't talk about that government like that. Just can't you see flyover in Warri? I said flyover. So with all the money he got in 3 years, this two flyover is the reason why he think it. But that is what has happened to the psyche of a lot of Nigerians. Damaged psyche. And that is reflected in how they respond to when you push against oppression. You say, how can you come and fight for this person? Don't you see that this person has done this thing? He has done that, he has done that. So just explain that so you understand that it doesn't move me. I already knew a long time ago the battle that I'm up against doing what I do.
All right, next person, please.
All right. Thank you. Am I free to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sowore.
Yes.
Hold on, next. Who is the next person? Hold on, is to get you. Next person, go ahead.
Is humanity. The next person is humanity.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Simon. How are you doing? Thanks for being on. All right, Mr. Sowore, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I want to encourage you to continue the membership. It's a great privilege to speak with you today. And I will ask a question. Because I've been watching your activism and your activities in Nigeria, videos and everything, people criticizing you and the response to all the things that you say about it. But there's one thing that gets me worried. Is it possible to have this is number one question. Is it possible to have a better Nigeria if those who are fighting for a better Nigeria doesn't have faith in the public, the people who are supporting them?
I want to know because I have not seen you in any of the videos say, maybe I'm wrong, that the one person in the leadership of Nigeria or in the government is likely a perfect person. All right. So how possible it is for the youth, how possible it is for any Nigeria to fight for a better Nigeria without believing that there are some people who are qualified to be in a position of power. If I'm wrong, please go ahead.
Thank you. Again, when you ask this question, I know where you're headed. I know you. I can predict.
Yes,
I predict you are. I can predict you want to impose a bill on the conversation. Without, my own position is very simple. The people that I'm up against, the ones that I have zero tolerance for, are mostly those who have governed Nigeria before in whatever capacity and did nothing with their time. You see, 8 years is a lot of time. Even 4 years is a lot of time in the life of a country. And if somebody was a governor of a state, vice president, House of Rep member, senator, president, and did nothing, and we are in this condition that we are in today, there's nothing you can tell me. It's not about you can tell me. It's something I know that you can't bring up the top and try to gaslight me to say, oh, is there not a better leader? Was there not a leader in Nigeria? No. And my position is informed by what is on the ground. It's informed by the condition of the roads, your hospitals, the schools in those that they presided over. Most of them, particularly governors, can't even stay in the state they govern the day after they finish governing the state. So if they then come and present themselves again, I will ask questions. It doesn't matter. Nobody can gaslight me. I will ask questions. What did you do? My simple question is, what did you do when you were governor of your state? What did you do? Where are the roads that we paid for? Where is water that you provided? Where is the hospital that you built that we can go to, or your people can go to? Where are the schools that are of high standard? Don't come and ask me, go and verify. No. Verification is done in instant manner these days. If I lie to you now that my hometown has 24 hours electricity, before we finish this conversation, somebody in my hometown is watching, they will upload it and say I lied. So I can't ask you to go and verify. It is the truth that these guys failed. If they didn't fail, we will not be looking for a needle in the haystack. We will not be saying, so if they performed, even if I'm opposed to them, it won't matter. It won't matter. But they didn't perform. They just come, they'll do, this country is a country that should be renamed anyhowness. They'll just do anyhow. And then they'll come and package themselves again and say, come back, see, we want to perform magic. You can't lie to me now. And when I say you can't lie to me, you say, oh, Sowore doesn't trust anybody. Because there are people I trust, but there are people I can never trust. And the people I cannot trust are the people who cannot point to me what they did when they had the opportunity to do something and didn't do it. Or the ones who are opportunists, who haven't done anything, who will never, the opportunity arises, they will go and jump and say, oh, here we are again. I'll give you an example. There's when they started ADC, so 17 lawmakers ran to ADC. Yeah, we have joined ADC. Ask them, what laws did they make when they were in the house? What did they do? Nothing. So if you don't want to go and showcase them as the new bride of the new protocol, and I criticize them, and Sowore doesn't say anything good about anybody. Because how can I be lying to you that they are good when they are not good? You want me to partake in those who are who are packaging fraud to me. I can't do that. My conscience won't let me do that. If the argument is that some people will say that it's a milocom, that it has to come from your area. That's your argument. Or that is the tone of your religious person. That's your argument. But it cannot override my own argument about performance. Mine is, look, I don't know where you are, my brother, but if you are around this country, Nigeria, maybe you are abroad, those of you abroad might have a different perception. Our own realities per second per second. Your own, you may have to wait for people to call you from home before you understand how bad this country is. Are you getting me? Or you might need to go online before you know what. We are in it here. We're in it. We are the ones who have to deal with. And maybe it's not even fair to say that if you're not here, you don't feel it. Some of you who are even abroad feel it more because the mismanagement of the country puts a lot of pressure on you to pay what they call black tax. You know what black tax is? So many of you are just being taxed every day because you are likely the better successful person in your family. Everybody wants you to pay for everything. So the pressure, so maybe it's not right to say that you don't feel the pressure. But can we for once just have an honest conversation about performance of these leaders? And if they haven't performed, please don't let us have a conversation that, oh, why can't you trust them? How can I trust somebody who allowed doctors to go on strike for 13 months? How can I trust somebody who allowed lecturers to go on strike for a whole year and then went and built himself a university with money they stole from Nigeria? Where did they do that in the world? So that's my position, sir.
All right, next question, please.
I have one question. Yes. If I would be allowed to do that. Thank you very much. I want to know, Mr. Sowore, thank you very much for the response. I want to know again, who is your ideal leader? What I see as a leader, I don't see a leader to be a man who cannot make any mistakes, right? So I want to understand, I want to hear from you.
Is your leader the person, is your ideal leader the person who perpetually makes mistakes? So if you answer that. No. So no. Because maybe it's time to ask you a question too. Who's your ideal leader amongst the Nigerian former leaders? Tell me one, please. A former governor, a former head of state, a former vice president, a former senate president, a former honorable member. Who is your ideal among them? Nominate the person to us so that we can dissect the person.
We have heard from 1999, we have had presidents and leaders, right? Like I said, there's nothing wrong if you make a mistake as a person as a leader. But the most important thing is if your mistake is not affecting the way you are doing.
No, is any leader you know that his mistake did not destroy the country? Tell me one, please, so that we can move on. I'm just asking you. Let's have a little interaction here. You know of any Nigerian president since 1999 whose mistakes did not cost this country development, progress, who did not partake in the destruction of the country, either by not doing anything or doing what is wrong? Do you know one that you want to nominate to us or you want to ask us so that we dissect the president? Okay, so because I don't have all the time, my brother, I've been here for 2 hours, and I was going to tell Simon that after 2 hours, I want to go for another meeting. This is political season, guys, and also tomorrow I have a trial in court at the Federal High Court. Justice Crack case is also tomorrow, so we're busy already.
Right. Yes. Busy already. We have had a person like Obasanjo as the president of Nigeria.
Yes.
We have had
Is Obasanjo your ideal leader?
Yes, for me. If you compare what is happening now.
It's okay. You don't need to go stress. We're trying to save time.
All right, let me ask my last question before I mute.
No. Don't worry. You have given your ideal leader. So I think there's no much to dissect here. The information about Obasanjo is in the public domain. But it's all about relativity, how you perceive it, and your level of knowledge and information in that regard. So I don't think there's much to dissect here. But if Obasanjo is your ideal leader, I tell you sincerely, there's a problem.
All right.
There's a
If
big
I'm allowed,
problem. But hold on.
if I'm allowed to ask a last question, I would appreciate that.
You have asked two at the moment, so let's go.
No, I just asked one.
No.
Asked one question.
This is your second. This is your second. Hold on. This is your second. Next person, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Simon, please. I have a suggestion. I will just let people ask.
Everybody.
Yeah, or if you have multiple, you can ask it as they go, so that when he's addressing it, he can address everything.
Okay, fine. That's how it goes. And very brief and concise, please.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Let me just go straight to the question since we don't have time. The questions that I want to ask is the so you are a party, are you guys open for coalition? Let's say the NDC say, guys, let's come together and form a coalition.
Null and void as well. This is a question in the public domain. Watch his videos, he has addressed that severally. Next person.
Good afternoon, senior corporate. I think that apparently you're still within my orange and the red police and you section Dr. Shi.
Have you gotten it?
No, I've not gotten it, sir. I straight to the request. Don't you think this format education, don't you think this high time you already platform to educate Vanderbilt so you will be really people
Who is Banga Boy? Who is Banga? No, wait. Who is Banga Boy?
Something I don't need.
Okay, so good because of time. I want to respond to that. And for the education of everyone. So the internet is a space that is probably new to some people, but it's been around for a long time. The internet has become almost its own country. And people operate there called netizens, and they come there for different reasons. Some use the internet for good, some use it for not too good. And the truth today is that when you look at Nigerians, especially the rich and connected, you look at their history. They have enjoyed the internet for political growth, social growth, for economic growth. And the moment they become powerful, they start to look down on certain categories of people that you call Banga. The latest was Adekunle Gold, who got somebody jailed for 2 years. Apparently because the poor boy went and posted on Twitter or wherever he posted that his son or daughter has died. And they got the boy arrested and they prosecuted him and sent him to jail for 2 years. I intervened without even what Adekunle Gold himself had done in the past. As it turns out, Adekunle Gold himself was a Banga boy in 2012. He wrote a tweet that he wished Jonathan would have died. Like he said in a quote that if God can give us Dagreen back, yes, Dagreen back, and take Jonathan away. If Adekunle Gold was arrested in 2012, I will fight Jonathan to the last to make sure that his rights are protected. So any Banga boy has no right to go and detain or imprison another Banga boy. If you have been Banga boy before, you should respect other Banga. It's the same thing I said about Tony Elumelu. Tony Elumelu is a content creator. Every morning you wake up, Tony Elumelu is showing that he's getting out of the jet, He's entering the office. So he benefits from the internet space, even for his business. I don't know how many people might have gone to open an account at UBA because they saw Tino on Instagram. So suddenly somebody writes something you don't like, you go and carry police. My position, so that you get me correctly, is that these cases don't rise to the point of using the police to arrest and detain people. They belong in the civil space. It's a civil case. If somebody says, if somebody writes about me, hmm, that my child is dead, you know what I'll do? I'll call because I'm not home. I call my wife. What's wrong with my son? I say, "There's nothing's wrong." I'll write on my platform that the child is alive. Nothing more. I'm not going to go and be looking for police to go and write to go and research on the person. Because I know I'm in a public space, in a public domain. Are you getting my point? Is that there are several levels of engagement on the internet. Even while we've been here since we started this show, do you know that if I were to want to arrest people, I would have arrested at least 20 people here? About since I was saying just in the comment section. You know, there are questions that have been asked of me today that could have made me, if I'm the person that you want all these strong people to be, that I could have arrested you. If we allow them to turn the internet into what they want to turn it into, don't be surprised. And I'm telling all of you today that one day they can make a law in this country that says that if you insult a rich man, it is death penalty if you insult a rich man on the internet. And there's nothing you can do about it. Some of you, particularly who are abroad, they will tell you that if you come to the country, you are going to face death penalty for insulting somebody who is a rich man. Are you going to accept that? These are the things you must understand. The people you call banger boys, they are out as part of this community on the internet. Only that they are using it for and the moment they started, what do I call it? Monetizing content. A lot of people, it's like monetization of ignorance. We do it. But what we must understand is that you cannot have complete control of the internet. If there are things that borders on crime, we all know what is crime. But the Nigerian police, and I'm listening to me now, we don't listen to a poor person if something was written about a poor person. If somebody in Mushin writes on the internet against you and say that RIP so person, you go to the police. If you are not connected, police will just look at you and say, what is wrong with you? The rest of them are saying, yeah, so now make you come carry yourself on this police station. You don't get anything we they do. But it is because these guys are connected and rich. It's part of the oppressive system. And guess who are the defenders of the oppression? The same poor people. Same poor people. Yes. But look at what the internet has also brought, the good it has brought to Nigeria. A lot of people are earning what is more than minimum wage just by participating in it. If you take down internet today, Nigeria will go to war because it is what is sustaining a lot of people. This internet that we have is where people are selling and buying and interacting and fighting for social justice. So the internet has good, but nothing has good that doesn't have bad. But again, what we must look at is that what has the bagger boy done? Say, oh, your wife has HIV. Because of that, you now start fighting. If you don't have HIV, the fact that the bagger boy said, you have HIV, does it kill you? Does it make you have HIV? You get my point? There's a boy that said that was arrested and detained for a long time. They call him Tuma. He said Ned Woko is not the father of his children. I intervened on his behalf. Yes, I intervened on his behalf. Everybody was abusing me. How can you say Ned Woko is not the father of his? And I explained and I said, if Ned is the father of his children, how does what Tuma said mean anything? That doesn't mean anything. And guess what happened a few weeks later? A few moments later, the wife is fighting Ned. They got to a point where what Tuma said almost became the conversation. They are separated now. Are you getting my point? But Tuma spent months in prison for saying that Ned is not the father of his children. And then few moments later, the wife went all out. Ned went all out. They started fighting. But you people have been abusing other people over people who have no moral standing in society. You're always fighting for the people you should not fight for. Today, Ned and his wife have separated. And yes, do I support Tuma Sewa? No, of course. But I said at that time that it did not that statement did not rise to a criminal offense. Guess who got arrested after that? His wife's brother. They went and arrested him because Ned is used to arresting people if you have disagreement with him. Guess who went to bail the brother of the wife out? Me. Are you hearing me? So who is Banga boy between Tuma and Ned? Ned turned out to be a bigger Banga man when the fight started.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr.
Next person.
It's me, the next person.
Simon, please, if it's possible that you can be let me because the way it's arranged, when more people are coming up, it will be distorted.
No, I know the sequence. Savik, are you there? Okay, Caesar, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Simon. I've been following your. Okay, if she came before me, then let her have the floor.
No, she wasn't here before you. I know the sequence. Two of you
All right.
before her.
All right. Thank you.
No, you are the last person before her. I mean, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. To Oga Omoyele Sowore, thank you for making our time for this engagement. I know you've been here for a long time. We really appreciate. I remember serving as an SUG president. They will always make reference to Omoyele Sowore because at the time I did not graduate. So they would always say that it is if you are an SUG president and you want to make things to work, check people like Omoyele Sowore. He didn't graduate, so it was expected that I should not have graduated too. And it happened. But glory to God, today I'm okay. So, but on this particular discussion we are having, if you recall in 2019, you came out for president for the first time. And a whole lot of young persons in Nigeria believed in your ability, your capacity. You got about 33,900 and something votes. Okay, which made you to come 10th out of 73 candidates that contested that election.
Yeah.
But which was also about 0.12% of the total vote that was casted in that election.
Yeah.
But coming down to 2023, you came back again. You got about 14,606 votes or thereabout, which made you about 16th position out of 18 persons that contested the election. And then the total vote now is about 0.06% of the total vote that was casted in that election.
Yes.
And in all the vote outings, you won 0 states in the whole 36 states and Abuja. And also the 25% vote winning requirement in each state, you must win at least 25% of 25 states to be able to be crowned the president of Nigeria. Okay, so but you could not make any of this. I honestly believe that there must have been manipulations from the INEC, but it was so fatal and very, very, impactful on everything that may have, happened. The question is coming back now in 2027 election. Do you think anything is going to be different from what has been experienced before? But that is like a part of the question. What have you ever thought about? Okay, from Ondo State,
Yeah.
the Sunshine State. Have you thought about being maybe a governor, a senator? This is because I liken you to people like Julius Malema of South Africa. Julius Malema is a very strong voice when it comes to Pan-Africanism. And he's also very, very rooted in his desire to see Africa right, not just South Africa. But as a leader of EFF in South Africa, he's making waves and people know him for what he truly is through his policies and the things he speaks about in the parliament. If you go to Uganda, you see people like Bob Wine. Bob Wine now, nobody is able to underscore what he can be able to achieve because he's always been contesting president from outside the system. Do you not think that it's worthwhile that we look for a way, get into the system? Because they said we are like dining table, and if you turn the table, everything will scatter. But you can't turn down the table except you are in the dining room. If you are not in that dining room, and as you have also stated in this outing now, you said you don't believe in guns. And this system has been built on structure of criminality. So they cannot even give room. People are literally begging to eat in Nigeria. So even when you are preaching what should work for them and their future generation, they are not seeing it because they are too myopic to collect 5,000 and 10,000 to sell their vote because they live a life of immediate. They just want to eat today. Okay? Then, so the last part of the question is, you talked about, of course, we appreciate how you've turned up for people that have been oppressed in Nigeria. But I think there is a thin line between, turning up for people who are unjustly being persecuted and then turning up for people who may have also committed a crime that they have been prosecuted for. Okay? Because there is law of defamation and it's real. If someone comes to say that you have HIV and you don't have HIV, for instance, it is one thing.
Hold on there. Do you know anybody that has committed a criminal offense that Sowore turned up for?
Yes.
Who?
One.
It's not just one. I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
The person he talked about now, that has case with the owner of UPA, Tony Numelu.
Yes.
The guy did not just say that Tony Numelu's daughter has HIV. He provided document evidence which is duly signed.
Okay,
that is criminal.
So can I ask now? Can I ask him a question? Can I ask him a question, please?
Yes.
Do you know where the guy is detained?
I don't know where he was detained.
Do you know his name?
I don't have that record.
So that's part of the problem. You are speaking. So wait, please, Simon, please. I want to. Please don't let him get it. No, wait. No, wait. Now, I don't want you to run away. I don't want you to run away. You don't know. Yes, you don't know. You are speaking authoritatively about something you don't know. That's part of the problem. You understand? You don't even know the person who Tony Elumelu detained and where he's detained, or even if he's in detention. But you heard from a third party, or maybe based on the mentality, the herd mentality. You get my point?
You just said it here.
No. I'm just telling you that when you don't know something, be humble enough to accept that you don't know the thing. Then about B-Lord, have you read the charges against B-Lord? I can bet you that you have not read the charges.
No, I read the charges.
What was he accused of? One
of the charges that was against B-Lord was the use of the face of very dark man to do B-board.
No, that's not true.
Okay. Which
it's not even true. It's not even true. It's not even true. He was accused of copyright infringement, which does not exist. You see, this is why you should, when you stand on the internet, make sure that you know what you are saying. Not because you have a camera, just come and say somebody is a criminal. You can't call somebody a criminal. Well, You can call somebody a criminal because it's a loose word to describe somebody who has committed. Wait. Can you calm down? Can you calm down? Yes. You cannot assume until the person has been adjudged a criminal that the person has committed a crime. And if he committed a crime, let's assume he committed a crime. Is it proper for him to be adjudged guilty before the trial is over? Why do you think the judge came back and granted him bail and recused herself? Why? Have you asked yourself? The pilot that you said is a criminal. Why do you think the judge came and said, I'm not doing this case anymore? You just sat down there, with all authority. You just start pronouncing judgments on things you have little or no idea. I ask you now, do you know the name of the guy who insulted Elumelu? You don't know, but you heard. Do you know where he's detained? You don't know. Do you know what has happened to the case? You don't know. But you are here authoritatively saying that you know to. No, wait now. We are saying here authoritatively. Wait. We are saying here authoritatively that you know two people that I stood for who have committed crime, but you don't know one of them at all. You don't know where he detained. You don't know which crime he committed. That's the Lumenu one. The second one you said is Bilod. I've asked you about Bilod. Have you seen the charges? No. Yes.
Hold on. I think what I wanted to.
You don't know the person you claim committed a crime. Caesar. You don't know the person who offended Elumelu. You don't.
Please, sir.
You just assume because you have been overwatching videos that somebody has committed a crime. You don't know the person. You don't know the person. Do you know the person? Do you know the person who committed a crime against Elumelu? I ask you again. You don't know his name or her name. You don't.
Sir, what I wanted to impute in this regards that would have addressed this is, I think, is rooted in also.
What has the name got to do with the act itself?
No, because the reason I'm saying that is that I'm not a lawyer. They may not have even been anybody at all that committed this crime. Do you know that?
What I want to add in this regard that would have.
Do you know that they would have just formulated a story that somebody committed a crime and no crime was committed? There's no victim, no criminal. Do you know that? And that is why society must be on guard to ensure that we don't lose our sense of responsibility and justice, so that a person, look, let me tell you something. In 1998, wait now, listen. Caesar, in 1998, I was arrested and put with criminals at SARS. 1998, I went to do a protest at the University of Lagos, Nuga 98. When we got to inside where they put all these SARS armed robbers, we found a 17-year-old boy there. We got upset. What are you doing here? Why did he? The boy told us that the person who committed the crime has paid the police, and the police came and took him so that he will stand in prison, in detention. For the person, the man is still robbing outside. So when you make these assumptions, be very clear. You just say, oh, I know two people you stood for who have committed crime. One of them, you don't know. You just assume. The second is Billboard. We ask you, have you seen the charges? You said, oh, you use somebody's face on Billboard. And so is that the crime? You don't know. The charges they filed against him, they couldn't defend it. Maybe the judge read the thing and the judge said, I am not doing this case anymore. Do you know that the case has now been taken to another judge, and the judge that's handling it, the new judge, might even demand for. They might have to go and amend the charges because the charges were so horrible. The judge probably look at it and say, we all know what this is all about now. But I understand it's exactly the problem with some of us Nigerians. We don't hate oppression. We just don't like it when it happens to the person. We like it when it happens to the person we don't like, but we don't like it when it happens to the person we like. And I say that because this assigning criminality to people had happened to even the person that jailed Bill before. On 2 occasions that I intervened on his behalf. What was he accused of? Criminal activities. Criminal activities. They say he defamed some people, Yabo, Joe, and the rest of them. Put him in prison. We went there and said, come on now. Where did the case go since that time? When the EFCC went and carried him from the bank and blindfolded him, we went and told the EFCC, you have no right to do that. Where is the case today? He was not even charged by the EFCC for any crime. I'm talking about Perry Darkman. So when you can sit there and just assume, that because you have a ring light and you have a phone, you can just pronounce that you are the almighty owner of the world and heavens. And that whomever you declare a criminal is a criminal, and whomever you wish should be destroyed should be destroyed. Think twice, because it's coming your way one day. You don't even know who offended Elumelu. You don't know the person. You don't know if there's any crime, there's any victim. Let me tell you, we have been asking for over a week now. The police said they don't even have anybody in detention. That's what the police is telling me. We asked DSS they don't have anybody in detention. I called the UPA spokesperson and said, guy, what's happening with this Elumelu? Where did you guys put the guy? The guy said, did you see my name in the press release? I'm not the one who wrote it. Go and ask for the person who wrote the press release. The UBA person who wrote the press release about the Lumelu's case is not even the official spokesperson. Have you asked why there's all these discrepancies? They don't know.
Sir, I wanted to add this one part of it. I think that would have helped seriously. I think there's a problem in regards people being able to distinguish between civil offenses and criminal offenses.
That's true. That's true.
People, and that is why I was deliberate in regards asking that question.
Yeah.
By the time you are able, I wish a lawyer.
The reason I say that, Simon, is that I have better and further information about the case. I don't want him.
Simon, sorry, so that you could proceed, okay? I don't need to be a lawyer to understand the difference between a civil case and a criminal case, okay? When it comes to issue of defamation when it's a civil case, and how do you handle civil cases? You go to court.
Yes.
Okay.
But
it is now left for the court. It is now left for the court.
Yes.
Hold on now. It is now left for the court to handle the case the way they want. If they invite the defendant and the person fails to turn up, okay. So it is not like Lord, for instance, was arrested from the first instance and detained in the police. No, that was not how it all started. From the information available to the public, for the information
you are even lying. You are lying. Billard was arrested twice. Billard was arrested twice. So Billard was arrested twice, for your information. In fact, by the time they arrested him the second time, he had already been granted administrative bail with 2 senior civil servants. Billard was arrested.
We may not agree on this particular.
No. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you because you asked a question. I'm educating you. I'm educating you because of others who are listening to you. Because you are speaking authoritatively about something you have no knowledge about. And you are here lying. You are here lying because you don't know, of course, that Billard was arrested. Billard was arrested twice. Go and find out. If you can send me a DM, I can send you information about the first time Billard was arrested and the second time he was arrested. He was arrested twice.
Okay, I will send you.
So before you send me your stuff, would you come back and apologize if we can prove that this Billard was arrested twice?
If at all,
yes.
This case started and it was initiated through the arrest of B-Lord, then I would come back and make it public. By the grace of God, I'm not too popular, but on Instagram too and on TikTok, I've got some few followers, people that believe in what I say. So what I'm saying is, if I come and you're able to prove it to me that the case between B-Lord and Frida started with the arrest of B-Lord. So you don't know that B-Lord was arrested and flown from Anambra? You don't know? You're not getting it. They said B-Lord was arrested when he failed to answer to the first call. No, it's not. It's not true. It's not true. Can we have another person, please? Can you answer my first question, please? What's the first question? What's the first question? My first question. I gave you the statistics of your statistics. Your statistics. Your question is, have you thought about going through Ondo or going through Ondo to get any? Are you from Ondo State?
This is something I'm passionate about in regards answering this. You get it? And I need to answer this. I want you to get this misconception flying everywhere in regards the fact that Bilod was arrested for refusing. I wish people can study a little bit of law, even if not generally, but a little bit. But I need to clear this. Bilod was arrested on the basis that he has refused to honor the initial invitation. But I want to put this straight to Nigerians that refusing to honor an invitation is not an offense. It is. If a court invites
Simon, please. Do you want me to participate in this anymore, or should we quit? Simon. Okay. No. I will help you. It will be helpful if I tell you what happened. Bilal was arrested twice. He was arrested and brought. He was invited. He was arrested and brought to Abuja first time. He was granted bail with two senior civil servants as sureties. And then the police commissioner who granted him bail, they were not happy with him. When he was arrested, he allowed him to be released. His name is Uche, CP Uche. He's now an AIG. And the moment CP Uche was promoted as AIG, they went back and got the people who were running the place where there was no CP to go and bring Bilod to Abuja. In fact, I heard that is the third time Bilod came because they were trying to resolve it also by ADR. So they went and brought him and flew him to Abuja. That's the part. That's the third time that Bilod will come to Abuja over the matter. And took him to court directly. When they got to court, the judge was closing. He said it's too late because they flew from Anambra. They flew him from Anambra. The judge said they should bring him, and they took him to the police station and detained him overnight. They took a video of him in that police station in compromised position. Then took him to court the next day. When he got there, Bilod told them that they should grant him bail. He will not run away. That he already has been granted bail. He said no. They got him to be detained on the order of the court and adjourned for 26 days, knowing that the judge was going on vacation and it was Easter period. You don't know what these things. That's why I said don't be authoritative if you don't know things. It's the third time that Bilod and this will come out. So it's just to let you know that he was arrested because they were not satisfied with the pace at which Uche, who was a CP at that time, was going about the case. Uche didn't want to even go to court. According to him, I spoke to him. You can call him, you can find out from him. So they took him to court, they took him to jail, and then drove behind the prison truck all the way from Abuja to just to prove a point that they have power. And that's what we are defending there. Is because he was arrested, of course. He was arrested 3 times. So it was brought to Abuja 3 different times and has been granted administrative bail. So the narrative that you hear is, of course, what you want to hear. The narrative that we know is what we are telling you. But most importantly, before we go to the next question, that's what Simon is telling you. There's no criminal offense here. It's a civil matter. Even if there's a violation of what they call copyright stuff, you know that there's a copyright commission in Nigeria whose job it is to prosecute copyright infringement. There's a National Copyright Commission. So, but I understand how passionate we can be when we want to punish people we don't like, right?
Please,
So, but the last question to your first question, I love your statistics. Oh, Sowore did not get it. Sowore did not get it. But do you, in all honesty, believe that you believe in those statistics when we are here discussing what INEC does to numbers? INEC can't get, even in my village where people voted for me, we won. When it goes to the state level, our numbers had disappeared. It did not get past the collation center. They had erased the numbers. INEC allocates numbers. So, and your question about going to Ondo, I asked you, are you from Ondo? Of course you're not. Even if I go, wait now, I thought you were asking me a question. You know, you don't even want to listen. You've made up your mind. So, yes, if I go to Ondo and we turn Ondo around and it becomes a Christmas tree, what about the rest of Nigeria? And the people who are getting the numbers you are putting in your statistics, what have they done for your country? They turned it into the poorest country in the world. They did a fantastic job between 1999 and 2026. I make your country the capital. They wait now. You see, I'm the one who came here to be asked the question, but you won't even listen to me. You know, you are so oppressive in your ways. You can't even listen to people. You can't. Yes, very oppressive. You know, and you talk down on people. You know, you did all your statistics. I'm answering your statistical question. You can't even allow me. We allowed you. You are taking the most amount of time from anybody here today. But just questions I want to answer, you won't let me answer. So the goal is to liberate the whole country, Nigeria, not on those states. You know, if I wanted to do those, I would have stayed. You said you were a student leader. When I was at the University of Lagos, it's what I wanted to do. People asked me to go and run for NAS. I said, I don't want to do NAS. I didn't go to NAS, but I was a senator in NAS. You know how it works. But I didn't want to become NAS president. I had a university that I wanted to be at, and when my time expired there, I left. The country of Nigeria is what needs holistic solution and fantastic leadership, not Ondo State. If I go and do Ondo State very well, everybody will come to Ondo State and suck out life out of Ondo. But if we do Nigeria very well, the entire African continent will get a life. Our neighbors will get a life. If Nigeria gets it right today, like everybody says all the time, the whole African continent will light up. So if I go to Ondo State and put electricity there, the rest I'm surrounded by darkness. The darkness surrounding us will overwhelm us in a matter of time. But again, I know the reason why you preach all these things. You already have your candidates in your mind. You go around discouraging any other candidate that is not your special candidate. And you are not good enough. You should be. So that's the problem. This is agenda.
People have been asking me recently if I'm on Bacha.
is that ended?
In regards the video I did
the life has ended on his end, and I was going to join another meeting anyway, so that might be it. Maybe I'll do next week.
as a young child in boarding school in General